Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to PS21 Explore. I'm Ning, Program Manager at PS21. That's Port Innovation Ecosystem Reimagined at Block 71. Today, we're going to explore two innovation opportunities in the annual Smart Port Challenge run. The first innovation opportunity would be on automated underwater cleaning and polishing of curved surfaces, which is championed by Dive Marine, also part of the Bernard Schulte group. And then we'll move on to the second innovation opportunity slightly around half an hour later. So do stay tuned if you're interested in the second innovation opportunity. So we'll start right off with our panelists from Dive Marine as well as the Bernard Schulte group, Innoport as well. So can I invite Albert, who is the Assistant Technical Superintendent from Dive Marine, to perhaps share a little bit about yourself. Albert, please.
Hi. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for attending these sessions. And I'm from working for Bernard Schulte Singapore. And today I will be talking about assisting with the dive marine services related to the automated underwater hard cleaning and propeller polishing.
All right, thank you. Hello, Heyman. Definitely not a stranger in PS21 events, but I think it'd be nice to introduce yourself a little bit as well as an Innoport to our new friends here.
Absolutely. It's great to be here. Thank you, Ning. So my name is Haimon. I am the investment manager for Innoport. Innoport is the venture capital arm of the Schulte Group. As the Schulte Group, we have the core businesses in ship owning and ship management, but also a lot of ancillary service companies, quite a lot of those to service the ship management arm of our group. We are looking for innovation in the group in the different verticals where we are operative and operating. And about 3 years ago, we founded Innoport as sort of the venture capital arm of the group, where we look for innovation among startups, where we would like to play a part in building the ecosystem in Singapore for the maritime maritime startup ecosystem. And to do so by investing in startups, but also working very closely with them. We like to act as sparring partners and try to bridge that gap between sort of the corporates and the startups, that we have better product market fit. And PS71, of course, is a great opportunity to get those discussions going, to get the support for the startups from MPA and US. And very happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Imon. I can't put it better myself. So I think he's already introduced PS71 for me as well. So for those friends who are new to PS71, welcome to your very first event that's hosted at PS71. So if you have any questions about the innovation opportunities that we will be discussing later, please use the Q&A function found at the bottom of the screen. And the video recording will be available after the event as well. So you can always head back to double check on certain information. All right, so we're going to dive right into our first innovation opportunity today. So one way to reduce fuel consumption and impact on the environment is by keeping the vessels in tip-top condition. All right, and marine growth on the hull can definitely increase underwater drag as well as reducing fuel efficiency and all those things that we would like to avoid. So that's why it is very important to keep maintenance on a very regular basis, and cleaning it is really an essential work. So underwater cleaning of curved surfaces such as commercial vessels, bow and propeller, currently can only be accomplished by human divers. And this is a very specialized, highly specialized job with very limited availability of trained personnel and also extremely costly. There are operational risks as well, and also regulatory restrictions in certain locations in the world. So we are not strangers to underwater remotely operated vehicles, but they are currently very much limited to flat surfaces, not really adapted to handle curved surfaces. So that's why the topic today is to focus on looking for innovations that would be able to handle curved surfaces underwater. And I'd like to invite Albert to share some of his information, and we will keep this discussion interactive. So if you have any questions at any point in time, do key in inside the Q&A function. Thank you. Albert, please.
Thank you, Ning, for really explaining all the details and how this come about. So what is the necessity for the needs for underwater hull cleaning and propeller pollution, and what are the actual solutions that we are reading right now? But of course, the audience, some of them, they might be not well familiar with the maritime industry and the trends. And so for that reason, I have prepared a few slides to go through with them so that they can have a better visual for the challenge. Okay, so this is the outline that I'm going to go through. First, I will briefly current existing practices in underwater hull cleaning and propeller polishings, and thereby we will talk about existing solutions with some visual and video on real life operation, as well as what are the requirements that need to be achieved, or what is a challenge actually that we are facing. Then this will outline as well in the slides, and followed by the, of course, discussion about how can be a project partner, sparring partner for the pilot projects. And lastly is a Q&A session to go through with all the attendees. So yeah. First of all, Drive Marine Services, incorporated in Singapore since 1974. They are highly specialized in underwater inspection, repair, and maintenance, which include hull cleaning, propeller polishings, and even thruster installation. So they do mainly specialize in underwater maritime services. So this is the current existing equipments or practices that has been doing. The main reason, main point of reason for our approach towards ROV is because there are a lot of human diver involved, and this industry is very high risk. As you can see on the left hand side, currently the divers is holding the propeller polisher, and in the center, this gentleman is going to polish the propeller as well. And on the right hand side, on top is the brush cut, which is used to clean the hull, and is also driven by the human divers as well. So this is existing majority of the company, they are utilizing this kind of solution. So of course, there are also different technology for cleaning and propeller. This is another system setup. The only difference is that this system includes hull cleaning and propeller polisher. They include the debris collection as well, so which is very environmental friendly on the aspects. Then, by the way, if anyone like to jump in at any point of time for Q&A, feel free. Yeah. So right now, I would like to go into a little bit deeper on how operation. Left hand side, it will jumping down and carrying out propeller polishing and brush cut hull cleaning. So this is a real video. So just to see how this actual operation looks like underwater. So this is the stand of the vessel area where radar and propeller is there. So this is a particular propeller boss, and the propeller is up. Yeah.
So this is done
he's
by
trying
human
to
being.
Yeah, human being at this stage. Yes. So currently he's using water jet to try to clean the barnacles. This is another where all the cooling line is passing through to the ships. So the next step, this is the actual operation for the propeller polishing using the polishers by human diver as well at this stage.
We can see that it's very manual currently, right?
Yes, correct, exactly. And
but
they
with
have to
human
control.
with human divers, there comes precision. They can go through places, and they know exactly which spots to clean.
Yeah, exactly. And also they know exactly not to damage the propellers or the hull itself. So yeah. So different pressure can cause different. Definitely, we are only cleaning, polishing to ensure is the best performance, or not to damage any machinery or equipment or the hull itself. So there is a very careful and tedious operations. Yeah. So the next is the brush cut, also run by the divers running through the hull. So on the right hand side, there are also another type of technology, but they are using water jet for hull cleaning. So basically, so previously on the left hand side is a brush cut system, and on the right hand side is a water jet system.
And this is not operated by human, is it?
This is ROV. Definitely, this is operated by the human on the wallboats.
Remotely.
Yeah, remotely, exactly. So there's no fully automation where everybody sit there in the office and the robot doing by itself at this stage. But yeah, but this is the state. But at least the good thing about the water jet system on the right hand side, there's no human diver involved to actually throughout the operation. And most is he just lower down the equipment just to get to the right place. Then just a pilot is doing the job for cleaning. Yep, I think we can move on to the next slide. So after cleaning, this is what actually is, because when you are cleaning, you cannot see the proper condition of the hull. So yeah, so let's go on to the next slide. It's a typical challenges we've been facing is mainly those hard to reach area that Ning mentioned previously, the bow and the stand and all the propeller and rudder area. This is the tedious part. And of course, different fouling has different conditions. So time to time, the barnacle are very hard and very difficult to clean. So it's also dependent on which kind of tool and brush to use for different kind of cleaning projects. And not only that, all this area, so we have very for the best performance of the hull and for the propeller. So, and the important factor that we are considering all this ROV solution is also because we would like to reduce risk and involvement of human divers, as it is a very high risk operations. So this is the current challenges we face. Then, of course, there are existing solution at this stage. On the left-hand side is also a water jet ROV system. So is doing the cleaning with only the pilot operators remotely operating the vehicle. And center one is the brush cut system, also remotely operated by the vehicle. And on the right-hand side is a full setup ROV system on a wallboat. So basically, yeah. Now I'd like to move on to show you some videos on how actual cleaning being done by the ROV.
I have a question. All these are underwater, right? All
Yeah,
these cleaning
underwater.
Nothing above water, right?
Yes, nothing above water.
So this whatever you're showing is effective only when the is used for cleaning below the water surface, right?
Yes. But of course, there are different, I would say, tools and ROV systems. So some they are making use of magnetic and all this, so they can stick onto the above water line. Also, not much of issue. And also, other than that, of wobble normally above water line, you can even use the normal hydrojetting machine from the ship side to do the cleaning. So above water line is normal.
So normally, what the difficulty?
Yeah.
Normally, what the difficulties what we face, like if the vessel is in loaded condition, then most of the underwater surface below underwater and is clean. But if the vessel is in ballast, then the let's say they've got a high freeboard of 8 and 9 meters. So this the equipments are unable to reach that that height, you know. So maybe like 1 or 2 meters water level of the water level they clean. So in fact, you are carrying out the hull cleaning, which is not very efficient, 100% efficient. That is one area of concern.
Yes, understood, sir. So for that reason, there are also wellboats equipped because this depends on the draft condition and arrangement that is done on the vessel at a particular point of time during the hull cleaning. So if you can pre-highlight all those diving service company that this is the draft and how many meters is above waterline, how many meters is below waterline, so that they can arrange a different team to take care of different job. Above waterline can be done by many ways. So a simple way is that wellboat alongside using the hydroting machine. Just manually of a ROV machine, but of course those ROV systems that have a magnetic system, it can go vertical, and then definitely they can also do the job as well. So all this need to be pre-communicated so that you can, during the hull cleaning process, you sort of like optimize the cleaning area. Definitely, yeah.
Okay, understood.
Okay,
thank you.
Then I would like, then of course this is a debris collection system where they filter all these barnacles and then they discharge all the seawater. So on the right hand side is another type of brush cut system using the ROV as well. So normally operated. This is only in workshop they are doing at the trial. Later on the video will come about on the actual operation as well.
But all these can only be used on flat surfaces and not really on curved surfaces, right?
Yes, exactly. As you can see, the structure is quite big. So the limitation is that they can only go through the curved surfaces at the angle, but they cannot really clean thoroughly on the curved surfaces. So,
especially like the propeller.
Yeah, exactly. A propeller is a very tedious operation. So definitely this huge giant, they cannot clean the propeller at this stage. Yeah. We need to have a smaller, compact, and I will say down to the tediousness for the propeller polishing.
But propeller for polishing is something that is, although it's not, the propeller itself is not as fragile as we think, but cleaning it may be, I mean, it's one part, it's a part that you do not want to damage, right? So does it actually get damaged very easily?
No. It of course, if let's say like you are using a very hard brush and all this, it can have scratches and all, then of course many superintendent, what they don't want would be any crack or any anything to the propeller as well. Because all this is all this is a class usually for a vessel 2.5 years and 5 years they will have to go through class. So 2.5 years normally they will do the in-water UI inspection, we call it, in-water survey inspection. So if surveyor found out any of the damages, especially the crack or anything, then they will defy all this issue. And it is quite major for them as well, because propeller is also part of the major component for fuel consumption and fuel efficiency as well. So yeah, it's to keep it's best to keep it optimal all the time for the owners and charterers. Yeah. Then I would like to move on to the actual limitation we have discussed just now. So for visualization purpose, all these ROV, they can go through all this area, but the main problem is on the front side, on the bow, and on the stand side. So. So currently, we have a solution. Main goal is to reduce safety of the operations, and second, the solution must be ease of operation and usage. Definitely for all areas, I would say even curved or even flat surfaces, that's beneficial. Then lastly is it has to have a different, I would say, standard of equipments that can perform a different task down to the very bottom. So as we discussed just now, how tedious not to damage the propeller and also the hull paint, because paint are also crucial part of the vessel. So ship owners and manager, they are arranging for hull cleaning to ensure that the paint can work optimal as well, and there's no drag, less drag on that. So ultimately, of course, is better cleaning efficiency with the minimal downtimes. So at this stage, at this moment, some of the port, they don't allow human diver cleaning at the terminal. So ROV can be one of the solution where when the vessel is doing the operation on tops, underwater, they are doing the hull cleaning. So it will reduce off hire time vessel. Even it's not higher if off hire, if charterer is willing to for this or this, or for the charterer is beneficial because operation downtime will be less. We don't have to arrange to encourage and clean up the job. Yeah, ultimately, of course, this solution is also towards driving towards fuel economy and low emission with the and greener port as well.
One
and
issue with the port
for this
authority, sorry to interrupt you. One issue with the port authority is why they do not allow,
yes,
because the what is brushed off of the hull because of the hull cleaning, it affects the biodiversity of that region. That is why many of the ports, which are especially the ones which are ecologically sensitive, they do not allow hull cleaning. It's not that just because a person is going down and cleaning the hull, or not from the safety aspect, but from the environmental aspect. This is also very one of the issues which prevents the port authorities from allowing the hull cleaning to be done in a port.
Right. So depending on location, sometimes port authorities do not allow the introduction of new species to a place. So there's the ecological concern. Another one is, of course, human safety. When you are cleaning near, I guess, busy waters, then of course it's not very safe for human divers.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. So it's in order to be sort of like sustainable. Definitely, we need this kind of debris collection system. Hull cleaning is being done, but immediately all this mechanical system and only seawater is being discharged. So this of course for sustainability and for future, definitely this whatever the ROV system that we are working on, it sure has a debris collection system. And even though currently not officially on I would say or IMO on any other than ballast water treatment system, not directly affecting on the hull cleaning at this stage yet, but sooner or later environmental regulation will be kicking for this kind of hull cleaning project. So yeah.
Okay, I do have a question actually. It seems like this solution is looking to achieve a lot of things. Although ultimately it is to clean the hull or curved surfaces like a propeller effectively, right? But to me, it sounds like there are a lot of things to check. First of all, it's of course making sure that cleaning is actually possible. So I want to ask, what is the extent of cleanliness? Let's just use that phrase. Acceptable when you have human driven cleaning is probably the cleanest you can get versus an ROV, right? So have you seen any disparity between effectiveness in using human divers versus ROVs? And would you be able to accept maybe a less clean hull if we do not use divers?
Definitely, I believe industry might not. So definitely, even for ROV solution, it has to keep a certain standard as close as possible to the human diver. The reason being, if it is not done properly, it will stay, the owners and managers and charterer, they still have the issue of extra fuel consumption and extra drag and all this. So it will not serve the purpose, it is not being done properly to the point of level. Yeah.
I see. Okay, so
That's
the
from our point of
standard
view.
has to be there, like, comparable.
Yes, exactly.
And then for Propeller, I can imagine it being the toughest thing to clean remotely or even autonomously, right?
Yep.
Because of the designs and everything else, and something that is big would not be able to access it. But if it's something that's not big, sometimes maybe the power would not be there as well. Imagine if it uses jet propulsion, water propulsion, right? So then
Yep.
my question is, Propeller typically moves. Would there be barnacles, or what kind of debris, not really debris, but what kind of undergrowth is most common in Propeller, and are they tougher to remove compared to the hull?
It will be, I would say it will be a similar as per the hull as well.
Okay.
So there
All
will
right.
be algae and barnacle. So it's a step-by-step process on the growth, so it will be much similar. So
Okay.
it doesn't really have to be on the propeller, is heavier. But of course, normally how this happens is a vessel anchor for very long times, and or coastal area is very dirty and sort of like that. Then within a few hours, a few days, it can be easily attached the algae, then followed by the barnacle. So it's a step-by-step process. So definitely, if a particular vessel is moving very much regularly with very minimal anchorage time or this, then it might be very, I would say, less compared to like you have anchorage and stoppages on different ports and different, but shipping normally not work that way. Yeah, so definitely sometimes even your vessel is ready, you still have to wait for the berthing place to go in on this. So there will be always plus and minus on this aspect. Yeah.
All right, can I ask you one related question? So for curved surfaces, are there ROVs available to do it already?
At this stage, for, of course, ROV is a very wide scope. So definitely, I have no doubt there might be some ROV can go through and all this, but to the cleanliness level, to the point that we discussed, there's still a question mark. So
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this challenge statement, since we're only focusing on curved surfaces, what is most important to you? Is it to ensure that the standard of cleanliness is comparable to human divers? If you have to rank, so there's a cleanliness being comparable to human divers, right? Secondly is precision. Because I mean, if you think about it, it's remotely operated, right? Precision is one thing. If it's cleaning a hull, maybe less so, since the hull is so big. But if you're looking at propeller and things like that, it's slightly, you would probably need a certain level of precision. Another one is autonomous. Like if you have these three things, and fourth is debris collection. If you have these four items, right, how would you rank them in terms of your importance of achievement? What should we achieve first? Or rather, what should that autonomous
I would say
ROV
the safety
achieve first?
of the the very first one is, of course, I would say to get to the level which is for the
cleanliness,
the safe, the vessel and the cleanliness. So there's also autonomous come in second, because it's also for the safety reason of the diver that we are getting rid of, I would say, getting ready for the autonomous solution. Then of course the next is for the environmental, which is for the debris collection. So
okay, understand. That's very helpful to know. So that I mean, we probably understand we can't deliver one particular innovation that fits everything from day one, but at least we know which milestone we should be heading towards first. Okay, that's very helpful. And I'm gonna have to quickly wrap up this session. So one last question to you probably is, if there is a startup or innovation that's presented to you and you reviewed it and think that, hey, this is possible, although it may not be perfect, but definitely something good enough and interesting enough for us to work together. And how would your organization or your team be able to work together with that chosen startup?
Oh, yeah. This for this I prepared for a slide as well. Definitely, we can be
Okay.
sparring partners because we have as you can see from different videos, we have industrial knowledge and different expertise.
Mm.
Then definitely we can also support them during the development. Yeah, for sure. Then we do have a test bed in real life condition. So meaning, but of course, it's also subjected to the owners. But we do have a wellboats dedicated for this kind of underwater operation. So we can always bring on site and definitely. But of course, many vessels based on the mother vessel, owners and managers and etc. There are agreements that okay, we are doing the piloting project. So subject to their agreement, we can do the real life testing if it is required. Then definitely Dive Marine Group is a MNC company. So they have access to extensive network. And of course, it's also a part of Shute Group. So we have a very diverse, I would say, in terms of like resources everywhere and network as well.
Yeah, and maybe to just add, we always try to also see how we can collaborate between the different business units and see how they can support each other in those, so that we can find the right vessel to test on, and so on and so forth.
And that's always very helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Himon and Albert, for your time today. And that's it, guys. So Dive Marine Services is looking for remotely operated and ultimately autonomous solution for hull cleaning and curved surface cleaning underwater. All right, so we're going to move on to the next innovation opportunity. And I have on my panel Captain Zaria from Tata NYK. Actually, together with him, we also have Captain Subabrata as well as Nabanita. All right, hello everyone. And today they are going to share with us a little bit more on more cost-effective ways and also efficient ways to clean cargo holds. So before we begin, I am going to invite Captain Zaria to perhaps introduce himself as well as to share something that's interesting about his job. We don't always get captains on our panel discussions.
Yeah, very good day to everyone, and thank you for having me here. Just a brief introduction. Our company, we are Tata NYK Shipping Private Limited, based in Singapore, having offices in India. We, like any shipping company, are moving goods across the waters. So we are a JV, joint venture company formed between Tata Steel India and NYK Line of Japan. So both the parent partners are very strong in their own industrial field. One is a megaboss in shipping. NYK, doesn't need an introduction. Tata Steel, being an industrialist, needs to move raw materials. So hence this JV was formed to enable the cargo movements, and not only Tata Steel, but we deal with worldwide trade. And as a shipping company, we own ships as well as operate ships. So our basic commodity which we are operating on is bulk cargoes. And just an introduction on bulk cargoes for those who are not, abreast of shipping terms. So bulk is all which is unpackaged and moved in volumes. Yeah, so they fill up the cargo holds, and we have issues where we switch between cargoes which may not be of the similar nature.
Yeah.
These are loose raw commodities carried in bulk form. Okay, so what we wanted to talk about going forward into our business statement was that even if you're carrying bulk cargoes, you may not be carrying, like I said earlier, the same cargo the second time. So there is always a switchover between the two cargoes. And when the next cargo comes, the requirement is to have your cargo holds, which are the receptacles for the cargo, to be in a very clean condition. So the degree of cleanliness varies with what cargo you're going to be loading next. And again, where is your ship positioned? And again, whether you have that much time to spend on cleaning of the cargo holds. So there is a crunch always with a ship owner that he has to deal with this situation every time he switches over between one cargo to another cargo. And this primarily happens mostly on, ships which are of a smaller size, like Panamax, Supramax, Ultramax. These kind of ships are frequently doing tramping. They just discharge cargo, go for the next cargo. It could be any part of the world, or it could be right next door. Next door means in a port which is very close by. So you get into a situation where you run short of time, and time is money in shipping. So we have to fight against time to reach the port of loading. There are certain contractual terms which we have to meet also, what we call a laycan. We have to arrive at a certain time. So your ship has to be fully ready to load the intended cargo. So you need to have the ship ready. You have limitations with your manpower. You have a crew set who are also under strict regulations for rest hours, man hours requirements for how much they can work. Then there is a lot of other jobs which happen on the ship which cannot be ignored. You have watchkeeping, you have people doing duties. So how many people effectively finally go into the cleaning of the cargo holds? Okay. So the statement comes up is that with so much of human manpower requirement and the amount of time it takes and the risks which you are exposing to your crew members to go down and clean the cargo holds, it may seem a very simple operation, but yes, the pressure comes when you want it done soon, you want things happening quickly, and from a dirty cargo, you want to switch over to a clean cargo. Yeah. So the level of cleanliness dictates how much time you spend and how much manpower is involved, to what level a person has to work to get this cleaning done in the cargo hold. And as the ships age, you start seeing that your cargo hold conditions start getting bad to worse, because you start doing chemical washing and you do a lot of things. You start scraping, you do a lot of manual interventions in the cargo holds. So half the time, whatever paint protection you have is also getting degraded in the cargo holds. More and more rust starts forming. And with the rust, the previous cargo starts sticking on those surfaces. Yeah, so you have issues of your people on the ship exposed to a lot of difficulties in getting the cargo holds ready for the next cargo which would come. Yes, it takes time, but that time is what, like I said, it relates to money. Okay, so your ships go off hire, you have to wait. If you have a long sea passage, fair enough, you still can do, but again, you work to limitations. Why? Because a human being can work to only a certain height in the cargo holds, and your holds can be close to 20, 21 meters high. So what do you do in the upper reaches of the holds where you cannot reach? And if the ship is at sea, you would not like to risk your, people hanging, dangling, and all that in the cargo holds. It doesn't happen.
Do you
Yeah.
mean that cargo holds are actually being cleaned even while the bulk carrier is on its way to another port?
Yes, yes. I mean, you have to use all the physical parameters available. You just can't stop. You may be on a passage on the sea. You may find rough weather difficult to do it, but there are provisions by which you can go into the cargo holds and do the work. So mostly it happens after the ship sails out, they do it at sea. But this, again, like I said, is exposing people to hardships as well as risking their very presence. So a seaman is kind of tuned to doing this kind of a job. But like I said, we can try something to make life a little easier if there is some, adaptation or some kind of innovative product which comes into helping the people, the limited manpower available on the ship to do this kind of a task. Yes, I can't say that it will do away with manpower. No, you will need somebody, but definitely the hands can be shared. You can have improvement in the time spent in cleaning. And possibly the most important thing is you need to reach on the higher areas of the cargo hold.
You know
Yeah.
what, Captain?
Yeah.
When you mention all this, right, it immediately comes to my mind that robot that I have at home, the that round.
That doesn't climb the wall, right?
No, it doesn't.
I've seen that, but yeah, there have been some products in the market like that. But we face issues on our ships because some of the cargoes turn out to be slippery. Some of the cargoes, if you like, have iron ore and the dust is there on the hull, then if you have kind of a robot which moves with a magnetic, it has wheels, and if the magnetic wheels are not holding on because there is dust in between and it slips off and falls, so the whole exercise gets wasted because your machine itself,
Understand.
yeah, machine goes, kaput, and then you don't know what to do next. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Thank you so much for those comments.
you're back to square one. So I'm just saying is, what can someone conceive, come up with some innovative ideas of if machines can be deployed and we have, suppose, most cargo ships, I won't talk about the Capes, but Panamax, 7 cargo holds maximum. Even if you have 3 equipments running and you have someone attending to it, it can be easily shared. That work can be shared out between a machine and a human, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of adaptation would help. Yeah, so we need to see how this can be, explored. I mean, it is just a thought where shipping has been running for so many years, but somehow this part has not been addressed to where it comes to dealing with the safety of the crew, the levels of cleanliness required today when the markets are at a height. Okay, yeah, so everybody wants a quick running ship. The ship owner wants to move fast, earn more money. The charter says, I'm paying you more money. What are you doing? Wasting so much time. I can't pay you. So and there are commitments to reach and load the cargo. So all in all said and done, the commercial pressures do dictate because finally everybody is out to make money. And we need that little helping hand where some of that job load can be shared with the ship staff, where they find it very difficult at times when weather can get rough. Yes, and for them it's like, how do they manage between their work hours and their rest hours and still make the deadline, meet the commitments, come into a port, and you pass the survey. Sometimes a cargo surveyor will come, oh, I can still see some stains on top, and for that the poor fellows have to run again and start cleaning. Okay. How much physical cleaning can be done, to what extent possible by humans? We need to have now a development by which some kind of machine can be adopted. We tried with what is available like cherry pickers, but it's not convenient to transfer it into the cargo holds. You cannot carry it around. So some adaptation which can be some kind of a fixture or some methods by which the cargo holds, like any box, it has 6 surfaces. So you have to see these vertical surfaces also are not plain surfaces. They come with structures, okay, structural members, what we call frames. There are longitudinals, there are certain positions where you have lashing arrangements, eyes. But I'm just saying there are obstructions also, and these are not plain flat surfaces. Okay.
Okay, all right. I'm just gonna summarize a little bit for context, okay, for our audience, because I must warn you that not everyone who listens in here as well as on Facebook are part of the maritime industry. So while we understand certain jargons, they may not. Most people are familiar with container ships.
Yeah.
Container ships are the ones that you see. I mean, it's really container on being lashed on the vessel. But what we're talking about here are bulk cargoes. So imagine a long vessel with like empty storage,
Yeah,
right? And very huge, right? And Captain mentioned that it can be even 21 meters high. And
22 meters high.
Yeah.
I made some slides. Can you see those slides if it's possible?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I think you have really good photographs to show. Yeah, so that's comparison to a human being, right? Like how huge it is.
Yeah, so it's the question of how he adapts himself to get to the job. The task is defined, he has to do it. So they're still going into the very old traditional methods of, water jets and, scrubbing it, and whatever cleans up, you can apply paint, but all this takes time. And also you have to ensure that the person working is safe. All kinds of precautions have to be taken. He also needs his rest hours. Can we go to the other slide also? Yes. Yeah, so you can see the height of the structure itself, the cargo hold, in which right now it's empty. They are in the process of cleaning.
Mm,
So these water jets at a particular height, they don't turn out to be so effective, you know. So
mm,
you see there are stains on the top, the black marks of the previous cargo. And if you carry some cleaner cargoes, some charterers, some next cargo owners would say, I want it absolutely spotless clean, because they want to ensure, they call it hospital clean, you know, means that
yeah.
there's no sign of previous cargo or any stains. But then you need to trade, you need your ships to go and earn money. So the pressure comes on the ship staff to go back and remove all these dirty stains from the top.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
so
what's the dirtiest cargo, I mean,
yeah,
picked up?
you can have something like petroleum based pet coke, we call it met coke. All these things, they stick to the side. There is also some cargoes like nickel ore. It just lovely, it sticks there, means it stays for a very long time, you know, and it's hard to take off. So you do a little bit of chemical washing, you try to repeatedly do it, and then it takes a little time to get those stains off. Yeah, it's a gradual approach, but like I said, it's very hard for someone to go up in the higher reaches. And you know, bottom parts, yes, you can take the brush and scrub and all that is fine. Or maybe you can reach up with some ladders, and with all safety precautions, you have to take time. So there are many occasions where even after all the hard work, the surveyor comes, oh, I see some stains. Like you can see on the higher area, some black marks, and that's what I'm saying. It's a robust job, and a lot of expectations from the ship's crew.
Mm.
Really,
And Captain, what's the material of this cargo hold?
all steel, steel
All
surface.
steel.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Mm,
all steel and covered. Of course, we have to keep rain protection on it. So
mm,
with all these chemicals you use, then there are certain cargoes like, you know, carrying salt. Salt is highly corrosive, so we put an application known as a lime wash.
mm,
So that lime wash is a protection for the steel, and also you will get sometimes, you know, the rust stains gets sucked
yeah.
in by the cargo. So it stains the cargo, and you don't want your salt to come all looking brown in color and off the ship. So you have to put that protection coat of lime wash. The next issue is once the cargo is out, you got to get that lime wash out, because you will not have the next cargo, you know, whoever is the shipper, to accept that lime wash to remain on the cargo, although it can act like a protective barrier, but you have to remove it. So you have a double job. First, the cargo gets off, you clean up the sweepings, you clear up whatever is there, the physical part of the cargo is out, then you have to start with the full, the sides, all, you have to remove that coatings. Yeah. Now, there are other chemical coatings also put for different cargoes. We call them, you know, hold blocks, we call them. These are all protection chemicals put, but they come with their own, uh, you know, chemicals for removals also. But in all this, it is just a question of who's doing it. It is the same human being being exposed to all these difficulties of, you know, reaching out, and again at what level and how much time he can adapt. Okay, so question is that it has been going on. Okay, people have been tuned to doing this kind of a job, but we must see now, with so much of technical advancements, developments, you have so many aids and methods by which you can make things easier. Okay, it's not that you can get rid of the human beings, they have to be there to monitor how things are working, but something which can help these seafarers from doing a better job. And also in a way, you know, it will help everyone to do a quick turnaround, to do a fast job. So we are looking at those, you know, exploring opportunities where someone can come up with some solution for us.
Right, definitely understand. So, I mean, a seafarer has no shortage of jobs to do on a vessel, whether it's onshore or offshore. It's just that there are things that are very manual, for example, cleaning your cargo holds, which can definitely benefit from technological advancements, right? So I have got a few questions to ask. First of all, does the cleaning happen even when the weather condition is, let's say it's raining, okay, I think rain might be a bit of a problem because your cargo hold has got covers, right? And so would they have to be open and then for the men to go in? So if it rains, does it mean that they don't clean on that day?
No, no, rain.
Depends.
Sorry, rain is not. So they can just like half close, half open the hatch like a tent, and then can go. Rain is not an issue, but only the motion of the vessel in a seaway is an issue. If the
I see.
vessel
Okay.
is rolling, the vessel
Alright.
is rolling, quite it's very unsafe for the people to go down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rolling. Then you
Okay.
your covers to go. You know, and
All
access-
right.
yes.
Okay, that's one good thing to know. That means that whatever innovation we used, it may not be subject to weather conditions, for example, rain. And another thing is, so we can see the man cleaning the bottom of the cargo hold as well as the sides of the cargo hold. Currently, which one would be your priority? Like, for example, if I have something, if we have developed something, would you rather focus on cleaning the base or the sides?
The sides.
The sides definitely, because of the height, right?
2 meters till 20 meters. So that is the one we are looking at.
But
Because
would you
this-
be happy enough if we can clean the bottom first?
Bottom, we can do it.
Okay. Okay, unfortunately.
No, there are tools to do the bottom part. That's
see.
easy. You know, you can just walk over and clean up. That's the easiest part. The tough part is
Okay.
getting on the sides, going on the heights.
All right,
20
understand.
meters. That is the issue.
Okay. So to all the entrepreneurs out there listening, do not focus on the bottom of the cargo hold. Focus on the side, but you can also see that it's not a smooth surface. It's actually there are structures, and then there are also ladders because the seafarers will have to climb down. Okay, understand. And the height, right? Remember that. And because of the items, the cargo that's being held inside the cargo hold, it changes. So unlike container ships, which have pretty much fixed route, for bulk carriers, they are slightly different, right? They're really pretty much on demand. So
What I
they
would
could be carrying grains from Australia to Singapore, and then once they discharge it, they could be carrying cement from Singapore to elsewhere. So the cargo has to change very often and by demand.
that's
Right.
good.
So that's the tough part, right? I mean, maybe grains is easier, it's probably just dusty. But then for cement, then okay, maybe it's also dusty because it's powdered. But for things like you mentioned, nickel or petroleum based, those are things that are harder to clean. So the solution we have to take into consideration these items. Maybe we would be able to share some of the common cargo that's being handled. So so that people will have roughly an idea what's tough to clean.
I'll tell you one more thing. I'll just give you one more feedback. Like for cargoes like iron ore, right? If you're thinking something magnetic which sticks to
Yeah.
the bulk, we might have iron ore also. The vessel carries
Yes.
iron ore. That time your magnetic will not be as effective to stick to the bulkheads because magnetic properties of iron ore, you know how it is. So
Yeah.
the contact might be not that firm. So that is another issue. There are robots available for cleaning bulkheads, but they are very inefficient when they're changing from iron ore to something else. So that is just one feedback I'm giving you. Yeah.
Okay, we have a question from the audience. So what level of autonomy, rather, are you looking for robotic cleaning system? So I think he's asking, Gulshan is asking whether or not you're looking at something that you deploy automatically or rather maybe assisted cleaning.
It has to be assisted because unless you can see it from a distance or it can be remotely done with cameras, but idea is that someone has to monitor and see the level of cleaning, whether it's suitable. Yeah, because it's a machine finally. Now someone has to be watching about what is the machine doing.
Okay, I think suffice to say that if we are sending men down into the cargo hold, the man can be at the bottom watching that particular robot or whatever innovation it is cleaning the sides of the wall, right? It can be assisted, it can be even remotely operated. Not remotely, it can be operated by the man at the bottom of the cargo hold.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're happy enough with that, right?
Yes. I mean,
That would have been a huge advancement.
Yeah, because you can, from what I feel, if I can use my whatever skills I remember, you can have some robot climbing up, have some high pressure water jets at the same time, have some kind of a cleaning arrangement with jets. You can go up, clean up. Idea is how do you keep it into the side of the vessel, because the ships are in the motion. It's not that you'll get the ship stopped and doing this while the ship is moving. How do you hold on to the side of the vessel? Whether you need to build some tracks or what is it, but then you can't do all that in the cargo holds. Yeah,
Mm,
we have to
yeah.
work whatever is the structure available, and yeah, so that is what we are looking at. If people can come out with some good ideas and help
I
us.
hope so too. Right. Okay. We're gonna wrap up very quickly, but I do have one last question. So, and this is a question that I also asked the Bernard Shooter group just now. So, if there's a chosen startup, how would Tata NYK, or rather your team, be able to work with the startups to, resolve this problem further? Would you be able to provide an environment for them to do testing or
Yeah,
anything like that?
again, it has to be on the vessel. So we can probably introduce them to a ship if it comes around. I don't know where they would be located, but if they are in Singapore, off and on we have ships visiting Singapore. If not our own vessels, then chartered vessels. But the problem comes, the cargo holds should, I don't know, if they have cargo, then probably they cannot go down to sea for themselves. But at least from the top, we can try and show them. At least on our own vessels, we can give them a very good view of the coals.
Yeah.
Anytime,
Otherwise, they will have to travel with the bulk carrier, because the cleaning is being done while in voyage.
yes, can be done. That can be arranged, surely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good to know. At least you know that you will definitely have a testing ground, and you will not have a shortage of domain experts, evidenced by presence of our captains here today, right? So these are people who will be able to advise technically. They know the problem in depth. So if you have any other questions, you can always write into us, and we're happy to share the answers. Okay, captains, do you have any other words that you'd like to share before we end the session today?
No, just thank you again for giving us this opportunity to speak, and we'll be very happy to have people's suggestions come up to us, discuss on this. We are freely accessible. I mean, you can share with them our contacts, and we are also working from home as much as everybody. So just be a little tolerant of the times when we are free.
Definitely.
And
So we will try our best to have the questions answered as soon as possible. But I must say that we have a lot of inquiries coming in every day. So we will try to manage it as much as possible. We'll collate them and then send it over to captains to have them answered. Then we will share the responses.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for your time and being here with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we do have more information coming up for you. So if we can have them on the screen for, I believe, our next session, and where to find out more information. So if you'd like to understand a little bit more about the innovation opportunities that we shared today, you can scan the QR code, or you can head over to www.peers21.sg. We have our animation videos to help explain, to help you visualize the problem statement a little bit better. And if you're interested, you have a customized solution for any of these innovation opportunities, you will have to put in your application by 10th of August. Also available on the website. And next week, we have another roadshow, and this time it'll be about consolidating and automating multiple ship data for port clearances and other purposes. And it will be hosted by Peers21 as well, and that is together with Clefness Digital. So remember to sign up for the event, and it's happening on the 19th of July at 4 p.m. And I'll see you guys next week. All right, thank you.
Thank you.